Well, we didn't count on snow.
I think we can. I hope we can find his grave.
I'm gonna say it's over there. Welcome to Taphotopia, winter episode. Winter #winter edition.
Hi, welcome to Taphotopia, where we visit cemeteries, meet fascinating previously living people, and unearth great stories one grave at a time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy these videos. Today, we're in the Fairview Cemetery to share a bit about a person who was a homegrown business owner. Some have described him as a dapper-dressed entrepreneur, but everyone agrees he was a self-taught inventor and engineer. So, let's go meet Chester Greenwood.
Yeah.
Chester Greenwood was born December 4th, 1858 in Farmington, Maine. He was the fourth of 6 children. There were 4 boys and 2 girls, and he grew up on the family farm. As a boy, Chester started school, but he had to drop out in order to help support his family, and he worked hard helping make ends meet. He sold candy, and he sold eggs. One winter's day, when he was 15, possibly he was ice skating, possibly he was sledding, he was tired of trying to warm his ears by wrapping an itchy wool scarf around his head. It is said that Chester Greenwood had terribly sensitive ears to the cold. So at home, he fashioned 2 pieces of thin, flexible wire into ear-shaped loops, and then he asked his grandmother to sew pads of material onto the loops, and voila! The prototype for the modern earmuff was invented. These that I'm wearing, these are not Chester Greenwood devices, but we will get to Chester Greenwood's invention in just a moment.
This is just our homage to Chester Greenwood. All right.
And it's cold out.
And it is cold out.
Chester made improvements. The thin wires were replaced by steel bands, and it is said that these steel bands came from a clock, the mainspring of a clock that his father gave him. Starting in 1874, for the next couple years, Chester handmade earmuffs for family and neighbors and friends, and people loved them. So Chester decided to offer them to the country. At age 18, Chester filed his first patent application for his earmuffs. 1 month and 4 days later, on March 13th, 1877, the patent was granted. So Chester established a factory in West Farmington. The factory was called Chester Greenwood and Company, and the product he made was called Greenwood's Champion Ear Protectors. It is said that Chester Greenwood never called them earmuffs. Okay. They were always ear protectors or champion ear protectors. Now, in the very beginning, they made all of the earmuffs by hand. According to Chester, we worked without machinery, and 125 pairs a day to a hand was a good day's work. In 1880, the factory produced 1,700 pairs of champion ear protectors by hand. And in 1881, the factory produced 3,500 pair. As the orders came in, Chester found that he couldn't keep up with the demand. So what did he do? He invented machinery. In 1882, thanks to the machinery, they made 16,000 pairs of champion ear protectors. And in 1883, the factory employed 11 workers and produced about 50,000 champion ear protectors. On October 12, 1884, Chester was 25 years old, and he married Isabel Whittier. She was 22, and eventually they had 4 children. Isabel and Chester designed a lovely house for their family, and in fact, it is still standing in Farmington today. In 1885, ear protector sales were growing. The factory expanded into the village of Farmington, and Chester had to make more machinery. According to The History of Farmington by Francis Butler, published in 1885, the building now occupied for manufacturing Greenwood's Champion ear protectors contains 18 different machines run by steam power, all of which were designed for the special work here performed. Chester Greenwood is the inventor and proprietor of this machinery, and through his genius and perseverance, a business has been established which is rapidly increasing. Here at Taphotopia, we like to think the expansion of his business was due to his clever advertising techniques, like this special coin that Chester designed. Chester would carry them with him wherever he went, giving them out to people, and it entitled the recipient to a pair of ear protectors for 25 cents wherever Greenwood Champion ear protectors were sold. Chester had several businesses. His 60-year career of manufacturing Champion ear protectors also includes a machine shop, a bicycle shop. He sold boilers for steam heat, manufactured wood boring machines, roofing, real estate. He was a partner in the operation of an excursion steamboat for picnic parties on a nearby lake. He was the owner and operator of the Franklin Telephone and Telegraph, named after Franklin County, where Farmington is located. If you read about Chester, or you watch other videos about him, it is commonly asserted that Chester held numerous patents. But our team of Taphotopia researchers, however, has only uncovered 5 in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Database. These are earmuffs in 1877 at age 18, an advertising matchbox in 1882 at age 23, a wood boring machine in 1914 at age 55, a wide-bottom tea kettle in 1929 at age 70, and a metal rake in 1936 at age 78. Chester's businesses were not limited to the Champion ear protectors, and the metal rake, it's a nice example. In 1940, in the Boston Herald, the Chester Greenwood and Company published an ad for the patented Greenwood tempered steel rake. In addition to businesses and patents, Chester was at heart an inventor, and it is purported that he created more than 100 inventions, including shock absorbers, self-priming spark plugs, wheel bearings, a donut hook for pulling donuts from hot oil, a mechanical mousetrap, steel archery bows, a folding bed, a wheel grinder, steel valves, a pipe vise, and an umbrella stand. But throughout his life, he always identified with his first invention. In the 1900 U.S. Census, he listed his profession as a manufacturer of ear protection. And in the 1910 U.S. Census, he listed his profession as a proprietor of an ear protection factory. When the U.S. entered World War I in 1917, Chester secured a government contract to provide Champion ear protectors to thousands of soldiers overseas. Production grew rapidly. His factory now employed more than 50 workers, as well as a small group of local people who did hand assembly and hand stitching, probably at home. Champion ear protectors were normally made in one color, black, but for the United States government, their factory produced them in a kind of olive drab green. And if you would like to see a genuine original pair of Army-issued Greenwood Champion ear protectors, you can watch our tidbit video. So in 1936, the company had its biggest year. It produced around 400,000 pairs of Champion ear protectors. Some people suggest it may have even been higher. The following year, after a long illness, on July 5, 1937, Chester Greenwood died. He was 78 years old. And it is said that on the day of his burial, all of the shops in Farmington closed during his funeral service. So here in the Fairview Cemetery, Chester is buried along with the rest of his family. When World War II started, the Greenwood factory closed because the war efforts made it impossible to obtain steel for headbands. The Smithsonian has called Chester one of the United States' 15 outstanding inventors for the 20th century. And in 1977, the state of Maine declared Chester Greenwood Day. It was originally December 21st, but now it is celebrated on the first Saturday of December. And to mark the occasion, the town of Farmington holds a parade. They have speeches by local dignitaries. Everyone wears earmuffs, and they also fly a special Chester Greenwood flag at the Franklin County Courthouse. Thanks for joining us at Taphotopia. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
And we'll see you next time.